Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of Pardon the Noobs. I'm Jay Gotti. The man next to me is the OptimusMagnum. We do appreciate you stopping in this morning for the live show here on Twitch on the Good Game Report. If you're not checking this out live, you know we've got the YouTube that we release on Mondays as well as the podcast as well. So download that wherever you get your podcast, whether you get that from Apple, Spotify, or whatnot, Anchor, you name it. It's out there on Mondays, just like YouTube, so you can check this out later in the week if it's more convenient for you. As you know, we're live here every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. We're so glad you guys are here. Optimus, how was this week for you, man? How'd it go?
I'm progressing very well in Major League Baseball, the show, or MLB, the show 21. I have now made a AAA team. I had a stint in the major leagues for preseason, or spring training, but I was demoted to AA. But now quickly put up to AAA. So I'm excited because my chance at the major leagues is coming.
All right. Well, you're kind of living vicariously as your Mets kind of do this up and down in the standings in real life. You've got something that's keeping you busy, and it's an amazing game.
Yeah,
like I said, I've seen you stream it. Wacky streams it. Looks incredibly complex too, though. So I don't know if I can dip into that or not. For me, nothing much. We're completely healed from the second COVID shot. It's in the rearview mirror. Another week and a half, I'll be considered fully vaxxed, as they say.
Yes.
And hopefully not have to worry about that crap for a little while. Always good there. In other words, you love to see it. So
I love to see it.
Absolutely. Tony, you want to get us started off with some Ggr updates this morning?
Yes.
I know the folks
Let's
want to
get
know
into
what's
those
going to be going on.
Yes. So always Mondays, check out the Geek Corner stream where it meets all your retro needs. And you get to see Peter Bite and Matt's Geek Corner play it and duke it out basically against each other, playing games or with each other, depending on what they're doing. But they're always playing cool games. And this week's game, it's one of those innovative games back in the day. It's Max Payne. And if you have never played Max Payne, check it out live 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Ggr Twitch channel right here on the Ggr Twitch channel. Max Payne's a dope game. Remember it's like kind of like that Matrix thing where you can stop time and like the bullets kind of go and you can move around and do stuff. Right. It was very innovative for its time, and it's going to be really fun to watch them play that. So make sure you guys check that out, please. And then we have Raid Night. Give them that love. Maybe get them over the hump for that Twitch affiliate, or just add more players to the mix. More players to play with, more people to talk to, more people to socialize with, and just completely grow this Ggr channel the way it should be, with games, fun, happiness, and just, love and support. So that's on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's also with Mildgenix and Toodle McBooty. And last week they raided a Nufiso. It was a lot of fun. I wasn't there, unfortunately, because raid night's a little hard for me with putting the kids to bed, but make sure you're there and support if you can be. And, even if you're there for 5 minutes, just saying hello and, giving somebody a follow or just showing some support, try to be there if you can.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. It's just a great opportunity for us to come together as a community and do that together. And if you can't make the live show, don't sweat it. But even like Optimus said there, if you can make it in for 5 minutes and maybe even just give a follow to the person that we rated, definitely helps out with the equation, definitely helps out with just helping grow the community and helping others grow as they become streamers and make the affiliate and all that good stuff. So as I announce every Saturday morning, Thursday, another weekly top 10 came out. Did you notice the differences? There were 2 key differences this week that we haven't implemented before. So I'm asking right now, did you notice? If you didn't watch it, you wouldn't have noticed. So make sure you get back there, watch week 53. It's on the Good Game Report YouTube channel. Had a couple of small adjustments, and I think they're better. They've been well received so far by the folks that have commented and noticed that. So look forward to continued involvement of the top 10. Right? Make it even more fun and. It's such a great thing. Just participate. If you're in our Discord, the weekly top 10 clips channel is there. All I got to do is go in there, pop your Twitch clip in there, right? Give Ultra something to look at. We love to put new people in there. you're featured in a YouTube video. When that gets edited, if you look in there, it gets, you get tagged and everything. Your channel's there, advertised to the world of YouTube. So whether it's funny, whether it's like just a beast of a play, whatever, put it in there, right? And you'd be surprised what people would either be entertained by, laugh at, have fun with. I think Peter even put the game in there. I think was it this week or last week? I can't remember. With the little fellow with the nose. Yeah, we're not going to get into all the details about that because if you saw it, you saw it. But definitely a funny thing there as well. So we get a lot of good laughs out of the top 10 also. By the way, yesterday had a significant stream yesterday. Toodle McBooty was live for 15 hours yesterday. Started 7 a.m. in the morning. Ended up going 15 long hours with the donations that were given. Toodle actually went for $215 was raised for the Wounded Warrior Project. So if you're able to stop by the stream and support, or if you're able to donate any money, such a worthwhile cause. His father himself actually stopped in the stream too, and has served our country. So if you've served our country, thank you for your service. If you're a friend, family member, son, daughter, anything involved with service for this country, through our armed forces, definitely salute to you guys. You guys are the real MVP. So thanks again, Toodle, for doing that. He routinely gives the Wounded Warrior Project and streams for it as well. He's trying to get, I think they have a program for streamers just for that charity. So good luck to Toodles on that. And thank you so much for involving us with that stream, put us in a position where we could give as well. So on to gaming news. So 2021, later this year, marks the 20-year anniversary for Xbox, right? Is that, man, I'm
Crazy.
getting old. I'm getting old. I'm getting old, Optimus. Do you remember where you were at or where you were when you played your first Xbox game? Some of you,
I remember.
Some of you may or may not have been alive yet.
Yeah, I actually remember playing Halo. That was my first game that I ever played on the Xbox, the original Xbox, and I did not understand it.
All good.
Honestly, I did not understand it very well. I was a little confused by it because I just never played anything like that before. And I kind of put it down. I never really played it that much. I was more a sports guy, so I play a lot of sports games on there. I played a lot of ESPN 2K5 on the original Xbox. A lot of it. It was my favorite game on there.
Well, if you were playing 20 years ago, you're hooking up multiple cables to a standard definition CRT TV, and it came out November 15th of 2001. So it's not quite 20 yet. It's going to happen later this year. That happened in North America. And then it launched around the world just kind of sequentially after that. To get this thing, you had to pre-order. Do you remember standing in line in places for like the hottest new games and consoles and stuff? It's not too far back, but this has been that really started. Was waiting in line for the Xbox. You played games in 640 by 480 res or less, depending on when you played the console. Only had 8 gigabytes of storage and 64 megs of memory. You played locally. When this came out, there was no online play, right? So you might have had a switch or a router or something you used and tethered a few Xboxes together. We've mentioned LAN parties in this show before. For some of you that are a little younger and maybe not know what that is, this is back before we had online games.
Well,
they had take Ethernet cable, run them all, and connect them all together.
They had online play.
Well, yes, but not originally.
It on the Xbox, it came later, but they did have online play. I will say that they had it. It's just that people didn't know about it.
Xbox Live came around shortly after the launch. Our own J Cubed was actually one of the original testers of Xbox Live, which is pretty cool to know.
That's really cool.
But when this came out of the box, when Halo was out, there was an online place. So, and it was basically taking Cat 5 and running it to 4 corners of the house to each to an Xbox and a TV. That was the first really like multiplayer deal because it had multiplayer in the game. But, to take full advantage of that, you got to have multiple Xboxes sitting there. So the buddies that pack up the Xbox come over to the house, and well, the rest is history. So as you mentioned earlier, along with that 20-year anniversary, there's a certain game that came out. That one right there, Halo,
Yep.
also 20 years old as this Xbox comes out. It's hard to think that far back, man, and just remember
Yeah.
like Master Chief's been 20 years in gaming already. That's crazy. Looking for later this year in the fall. Hopefully, Halo Infinite comes out and we can start taking the new journey with Halo. I'll believe it when I see it. I just want to see it come out. I want to see it come out well, of course. But wow, it's amazing. So Xbox is doing some things to celebrate the 20th year anniversary. They've already started with some stuff. If you have an Xbox Series X or S, the original dynamic background, you remember when you booted it up? You can download it onto your Xbox and have that be like your start menu and whatnot, which I think is pretty freaking cool. So just the first thing that they've kind of put out there, they've had a fan shop for it. There's lots of fanfare going to happen, contests, drawings, giveaways, that kind of stuff until launch of the anniversary here in November. So 20 years the Xbox
Crazy.
has been out already, along with Halo. So it's a
I'm old.
celebration.
I'm old.
Absolutely. And it's just thinking about that, I'm like, that's not even close to my first console, man. That's it's down the road.
That came out in 2001. In
Yeah.
2001, I was 26 years old.
I'm not doing the math, but yeah, I was
26.
not as old as you, but near.
Oh,
But
that's
I'd
crazy.
have been what, 20? You were born in what? I was born in 79, so
I was born in 1975.
so I'd have been 24. 24.
Yeah, around there. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Boomers. This is the
Yeah.
part of the noob show, folks. This is not, we are not spring chickens here. So
26 years old. Woo. I'd kill to be that again.
and that's not even, you're too old for competitive at that age now. So
No, I'm not. I want to be an MLG pro now.
absolutely. Let's put it. Let me say it differently. Then you're too old to be competitive with the folks that are playing pro right now. How's that?
Yes. The hand-eye coordination is not quite the same,
Speaking of younger people and younger streamers, Ninja. Some news has come out about Ninja. He's kind of crept back on the scene a little bit with his crazy colored hair. This is a Fortnite guy. He's in a recent interview or some discussion. It's recently come out that creator codes, right? In Fortnite and other games have them as well. It's rumored that his creator code in 1 month back in 2018 brought in $5 million. That's five.
Wow.
$5 million just from his
That's a lot of
creator
money.
code 1 month back in 2018. So the way that works is Fortnite support a creator program. They allow the creator to receive 5% of the purchases with their creator code. Now, in case your brain's like going around, you're like, oh, wait, that's okay. Wait, how much is that? Well, take 20 times that 5 million. That's what they made off of it. So just in case you hadn't done the math in your head, it means that Fortnite would have taken $100 million just based off of Ninja's creator code in that month. And that wasn't a 1 month thing. That just went on and on and on for a while.
Yep.
So because his pockets aren't empty, but it's just kind of, that's a little while back now. That's back in 2018. That's 3 years ago. What does that look like now? Obviously, he hasn't been as fruitful or as active streaming. And I think we know a little bit more about why. I mean, the big contract to go over to Mixer, and then he's back over here. Like, the man's pockets aren't empty, so I guess he's taking some time off from being serious about it. But just to hear that,
Yeah,
$5
he's doing a lot of
million
advertisements. Yeah, he's running. So he's in a lot of things, like involved with more TV stuff.
Yeah.
So he's getting paid from that. Like, he's got endorsements and things like that he's doing, commercials that he's shooting. So he's more, I think his focus has kind of shifted from streaming all the time to more TV and promoting his brand.
I'm going to say he's a little more Hollywood now than he was when he was originally playing the game and streaming for us. So,
yeah. Which is not a bad thing. I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, he's successful, and you can't hate on the guy for being successful and getting endorsements and stuff like that. I mean, it's all part of the game. It's, you always want to improve and better yourself. So kudos to him for doing it early and young.
This man's had, right? We'd all like to be there. So there's definitely no hate. But it's just sheer, just like, what?
Yep. Yep.
So Twitch is announcing some new subscription prices. Tony, do you have some info on that?
Yeah, so Twitch is changing like subscription prices. They're basically adjusting prices for other countries. Like they're going to be implementing them worldwide, but they're starting with Mexico and Turkey first, considering those were the two countries that really were adamant about getting the change done. So if you don't know what that means, like in other words, in the US, the cost of living is a little higher than obviously those countries. So to adjust for cost of living and and price differences, they're basically like the price in Mexico is 99 pesos for a subscription. I know it sounds weird because it's pesos versus dollars, obviously in the U.S., but they're changing it from 99 to 48. And in Turkey, I guess it's called try their money. They're changing it from 42 to 10 try. So it's all basically to adjust. Now, how this works out for us, I don't know. That's the weird part because I don't know how. Let's say somebody from Mexico or Turkey is subscribing to you, and I tried to look into this. I don't know how the price adjusts for us. I don't know if it still adjusts to us, like we're still getting like let's say 250 of that from that $5 subscription, or if it ends up being less for the creator when somebody from Mexico subscribes to you. Even though I doubt that probably will happen because usually the people in Mexico speak Spanish, so they stick more to the Mexican streamers or Hispanic streamers and things like that. So who knows? And obviously in Turkey they speak a different language too, so they probably stick with theirs. But I don't know how that works with the price adjustments, but it's a good thing I think because you shouldn't be charging them American prices for something that they're trying to enjoy in their country
Right.
for and trying to enjoy their country's streamers and not be able to not be able to sub to them because it costs way too much because it's costing our prices. So I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing across the board to help get lesser known streamers or big known streamers for them on their side, getting their viewership and getting their money.
Definitely promotes more of an international flavor to the brand, right? And I think
Exactly.
it's something that's so easily transferred through the internet, right?
Yep.
You can get these apps on your phones. You can use it on the computer. It definitely helps Twitch, I think, in the long run as an international brand. When I first saw
Exactly.
this article, I thought, "Oh man, are they hiking up sub prices?" So I'm glad to hear this is not
Yes.
the case. I'm like, "Are you gonna make it like $6 or $7? Twitch, don't be greedy. Come on." And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
thankfully, it's actually this. So
It's funny
good
that
news.
you saw that because I saw the exact same thing when I first read the headline, and I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, they're gonna adjust it, make it more." And then I read on, I was like, "Oh, okay." I was more like relief, like, "Whew." But moving on, there's FIFA 21 is actually gonna memorialize a murdered soccer star in their upcoming I think they might have already done it in their upcoming update, basically, or their update recently. Cayenne Prince, he was murdered. He was a promising UK soccer player, and 15 years ago he was murdered trying to help his friend. He was stabbed to death like his friend and somebody else was having an altercation, and he was trying to intervene on the behalf of his friend, obviously. And it was outside their school in England, and he was stabbed to death. And it was, obviously it's a sad ordeal and things like that. But 15 years later, FIFA decided to memorialize him and put him in the game. And it's kind of a cool thing because they kind of got his likeness. Like you'll probably see the pic right there of him. That is not how he looked. That's an older looking version of him. They basically took his likeness from when he was 15 or so and took his dad's image and kind of combined them to make it out to what he would possibly look like today
I gotcha.
and to put him in the game. And it was really cool. And his father, is who was a doctor, said, "I want my son to be remembered not for the tragedy of his death, but for the triumph of his achievements." And I thought that was really cool. He said, "Through his campaign, my hope is that the world finally gets to glimpse Cayenne's incredible potential fulfilled in the game." And they took his ratings, like because EA is big for their ratings, like in Madden and things like that. And they got his ratings composited from people that collaborated with him and things like that, like his coaches, former coaches, or people that knew him and things like that. And that's how they got their ratings for him. So it's a really cool thing to put somebody in the game to memorialize them like that.
A lot of respect there for sure. Rebel Warwick, you didn't tell us that the streets in England were that tough, dude. Seriously.
Yeah.
No, just to hear
Who
that,
knew?
let's like, I mean, I know
Yeah.
violence happens everywhere.
Yeah.
It's it's not just in a third world country, the United States or whatnot, but um, solid move by FIFA to go and recognize this young fella here, and the tragic death that happened there. Solid move. Solid
Yeah, it's
move.
gonna you're gonna probably start to see that happening in other games too, like with any potential star or somebody that's already a star, like being coming back in the game and things like that. They're gonna probably, you know, everybody has heroes and everybody has people that that could have been or something like that. You really feel strongly about, especially like really good, genuine people. And this guy was trying to help his friend and unfortunately got stabbed to death because of it. And you want to honor heroes and things like that. People trying to save other lives, and he basically saved his friend's life. Unfortunately, he gave up his.
Yeah, definitely a
Yeah.
selfless act by him to
Yep.
do so. Well, I don't know if you guys were paying attention to the internet yesterday, but Twitch came out and finally talked about, you got it. We got some hot tub updates for you guys. So I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. We're going to go from the actual Twitch document. Since we stream on Twitch, I want to make sure that it's as factual as possible. And then, our opinions are our own, so we can definitely comment on what Twitch has to say there. So they've been kind of slow to respond to all the controversy and whatnot around the hot tub streams. They've been taking it in. They've said, that's intentional, right? Internally wanted to deliberate about it a bit. We want to talk about the subject as a company first before we come out and put anything official out there on it. Been focused around, seeing the people stream, right? And kind of taking in the public's assumptions and what the public has said. They literally just been talking about it, right? And just waiting for the right timing to come out. We know that Twitch is typically slow to respond. I think that's not a bad thing in life. You want to be, a lot of people are quick to respond and not quick to think. So I
Yep.
think this is a smart move by Twitch, being, quick to think about it and slow to respond. Typically better. A couple of things that they want to focus in on here, and I'm just going to kind of take some bits and pieces out of the article. If you want to read it, it's full length. It is about 15 paragraphs or more long. So won't be doing that here today, but want to hit some of the highlights of it. Going to read some of it verbatim. So the conversation they've seen focus on the people who are streaming and the similar content are assuming assumptions about their motivations and intentions with the hot tub streams, right? So first and foremost, Twitch says no one deserves to be harassed against women or anyone on our service for their perceived attractiveness. And we'll give our own comments here as we kind of get through this. So they already have a nudity and attire policy, as well as sexually suggestive content, where streamers can appear in swimwear, contextually appropriate situations if they're at a beach, hot tub, for example. So essentially, they've made a new category for that. And if you go on the front page of Twitch, I was on there this morning. One of the more popular hot tub streamers was already on there streaming in the category. 16,000 people watching. So they've made a new category. Kind of scrolling down to what's next as they've done that. They've made that new category. It's actually named pools, hot tubs, and beaches. So it has an official name, right? I think it's important to say here that just because we don't like it doesn't mean that it shouldn't happen, right? We don't want censorship in this country. We want to be able to have free speech, like our forefathers put out for us. We want to be able to say what we want to say, and they're saying it through streams. And guess what? They've got their own category now. So the hot boys that are watching it, right? They can still do it because they're probably not sweating up in my stream looking at this mug anyway. So there's a place for that now. The pools, hot tubs, and beaches category is now live on Twitch. What do you think, Tone? What comes from that?
I'm going to start off by saying I don't want to be that person to tell you I told you so, but I told you so. They're not going to do anything about that. And who cares? Let them have what they're doing and let them do what they're doing. You can't discriminate against women or anybody wanting to do it. Men do it too. Men are doing it. I looked at the category yesterday. There's a bunch of men in the hot tub. Yeah. There was men. There's actually, before I get on my statement, I'm going to say one funny thing about this. I went on it yesterday and I was, you know how you scroll down like all the different people streaming? There was
Absolutely.
actually a guy streaming with a picture, like his camera border was basically a picture of a girl in a hot tub with the face cut out, and his face was in the face. It was one of the funniest things I've seen. I almost followed him just for that reason, but I didn't. But I thought it was hilarious. But like
Coffee
I
almost
said,
came out through my nose on that one, buddy.
they're not gonna do anything about it. And kudos to them for giving them their own category. Because you know what? Twitch ain't gonna lose money on this. Twitch is not gonna risk losing money, all the viewership that this category is gonna get them. And you know what? Who cares? Those people are watching what they want to watch. And if you're gaming and your content's good and you're entertaining and you're reading your chat and following along and being part of your community and doing your stuff, you got nothing to worry about. You'll get eventually noticed, or things are going to happen for you anyways. You're not going to get those dudes anyways in your stream.
Right.
They want to see I'm sorry, but they want to see TNA. That's what they're
Yeah,
there for. That's
better
what they're
words, that's what
paying
it is.
money. That's why they give them money in the views. So kudos to them for making a category for them. Let them have their category and move on.
Yeah,
Move on.
one fact I did leave out there that I wanted to, that I kind of glazed over that I should have mentioned as well, is there's some concerns because some folks have lost their advertising recently, or they've pulled advertising on certain channels on Twitch. And just wanted to come out from Twitch's statement there and kind of let you know what that's all about. As you know, Twitch advertises, right? If you're not subbed to a channel, when you go to it, it runs a small ad. Creators also have the opportunity to run an ad, a minute in length, 3 minutes in length. Sometimes Twitch does that for you as you become part of the affiliate program. So where the non-subs are going to see that advertising, right? So several people have lost advertising here recently, or noticed that Twitch wasn't doing advertise on their channels. And basically, what it comes down to is advertisers that they're spending the money, right? Twitch is making that money from streamers, unless you're a big time streamer with 15, 16,000 viewers, you're probably not seeing a whole lot of ad revenue. When you go in there to the insight and your dashboard, you're probably seeing pennies on the dollar for advertising on your channel. Probably not making a lot of money. This really applies to the bigger streamers. But advertising content gets spent where it wants, right? YouTube's the same way. Advertisers on YouTube have the same kind of set where they want to be in certain kinds of streams, right? And there's been some decisions made recently where Twitch definitely reaches out to its advertisers, right, and gives them options and gives them choices a little bit on where they're going to be advertised. And several of these streams have been basically all the advertisers, virtually all of them, have checked the box saying, "Hey, I don't want to be advertising in that stream." So whether it be hot tub content or something else, maybe there's a bunch of foul language. Who knows, right? Not behind the curtain at Twitch to see that, but recently, large groups of advertising has kind of told Twitch, "Hey, we don't want to be part of that," and so the advertising gets pulled from the channel. So, in case you were kind of hearing some scuffle or some scuttlebutt about that out there in the world, that's kind of how that worked. Twitch does not allow advertisers to not support a channel or be advertised in a channel for all the normal protected classes, race, religion, go down the laundry list there. Those aren't acceptable, but if they feel like the content doesn't match up with what they want to advertise, they can raise their hand. They do get feedback from advertisers as well to do that. Any thoughts on that, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, people can't get as a streamer, you can't get mad at that. I mean, I guess you have to display some kind of understanding, and it has for the ads, like unless you're a huge streamer, you're not really making any money off the ads. They make pennies on the ads. So even someone as big as someone with the 16,000 subs, like you said, it's only a few hundred a week for them. I mean, it may be a lot to us, but to them that's chump change because they're making. Trust me, these guys are making close to.
Yeah, they're sitting out there with
Like,
10, 15,000 subs or more anyway, and
yeah,
that's a lot more money.
you're making a lot of money per month. That a few $100s is not going to kill you. So losing ad revenue is bad for them. Maybe they'll start to have a different kind of ad source come in that want to have ads on those kind of streams, meaning anything had to do with pools, hot tubs, and TNA. I
Wouldn't
mean, you're
that be
going to start
funny?
to see. I mean, who knows if Pornhub will start to put
Oh
ads
no,
on Twitch. I'm just saying
it's
it could
possible.
happen because that's what they're showing. And they're showing that stuff and you're getting kind of that crowd that likes that stuff. So you never know who's going to be putting ads on those types of streams. I mean, it's possible to seclude it to one category, and that's probably another reason also why they put it in one category, because advertisers can just do ads on that category.
Right. You got to wonder when that. I know the mature audiences thing can be selected on Twitch by the streamer itself, but you got to wonder when they maybe put that out there. As you got to be 18. As you get into certain types of ads, obviously you don't want the 7-year-old getting on Twitch and seeing those kinds of ads. So
Yeah.
you wonder when that day comes when they actually start to pipe some of that in there as well. But we had to do it. It came out, just yesterday. We had to talk about this morning. You guys love to hear about hot tubs and the people that are in them. So, little fact update from Twitch yesterday as they released and some changes.
Yeah.
Guess what it's time for? It's time for Tony's. Actually, I used to say this sarcastically. This is now one of Tony's favorite parts of the show. It's time to talk about esports,
It's slowly
specifically the
growing
Call of
on me.
Duty League.
Yeah, it's slowly growing. I mean, I actually watched it last week. I watched it
Good.
briefly, but I watched it. I watched even the whole thing. But I'll let you describe it. But I watched everything that you're about to talk about.
He did. We were live chatting in the esports channel and the Good Game Report Discord. Kind of as events went, Milky was in there. Yan Yan came in as his team won, which is pretty convenient. And I told him that. I called him out on it, but it is what it is. Let's just go ahead and recap last weekend. It was major number 3 on the season. It was absolutely electric. If you watch this stuff, this is like finishing the playoffs right toward the Super Bowl. Of course, they have a couple of Super Bowls a year, but it was huge. So Saturday's action last week, I felt good about my Optic team on Saturday. They 3-0 Dallas Empire and the Mutineers going to the first Sunday of the year. Optic hasn't been to a Sunday yet. Toronto easily handled the LA Thieves, which is the 100 Thieves brand, right? If you don't know more about that. And they actually had an opening round. The first map in Hardpoint went down in Call of Duty League history. So if you guys aren't familiar with Hardpoint, basically there's one area that rotates around the map. You need to have at least one player in that area, and basically every second's like a point, right? If someone else comes in the area from the other team, it's challenged. Nobody earns anything, and there's a set amount of time for the match. This was nasty, folks. This is absolute filthy nasty. It set social media on fire for a little bit. The Thieves lost to Toronto 250-14, which is an all-time record for any match in Hardpoint in Call of Duty League history. So let's just say
That's
that
bad.
the Thieves weren't tuned up for that. That's the equivalent, and maybe if you're playing football in the NFL, that's like somebody hanging, I don't know, 80, 90 points to a field goal, right?
Yeah.
It's not pretty, right? And it wasn't pretty. They did come back and win the next map in Search and Destroy, and then ultimately end up losing the match 3-1. But wow, it wasn't expecting that from a Thieves team that just got hooked from Dallas, and they obviously haven't gelled together yet. There's going to be some work that needs to be done there. In the winners bracket final on Saturday, the Subliners, Tony's team, took out Atlanta FaZe 3-2 in Game 11 of Search and Destroy. Did it on Express to send FaZe to the elimination bracket. So I know Tony was happy on Saturday. He's like, yeah, we took out the team that only had 3 losses on the season, now have 4, and we're sitting pretty going into Sunday, taking any comer that makes it through, right? The only thing we have to play on Sunday is the grand final. So on Sunday, Toronto Ultra, they claw back in Game 5 of Search and Destroy on Raid to beat and eliminate my guys, Optic, right? I probably had them dead to rights a couple of times during that match. Unfortunately, Toronto's just playing too well as a team right now, and they took them out. Setting up another fight with Atlanta FaZe. If you remember back in Major 2, Toronto beat Atlanta FaZe for Major 2, all right, and knocked them out. So that set us up with FaZe versus Ultra. Let's just say that it was 3-2, but map 5, no doubt about it that FaZe did not want any part of losing Search and Destroy in Map 5 like they have previously to this team or to the subliners the previous day. So it was 6-2 on Moscow. FaZe just looked tuned in and absolutely lit. It was scary because they really dialed it up, which set up for our final. The final was, of course, Atlanta FaZe came through the elimination bracket, and then Tony's team, the New York Subliners, were sitting right there waiting on him. Already beat him once. Just got to come in there. It's a best of 9 setup. So in the final, if you guys don't know about that, it's a best of 9. So it's basically first team to win 5 maps or 5 games to do so. Game 1, man, Subliners came out convincingly, 250 to 185, and took it to them. And we're like, oh, okay. They're sat. You might have thought they'd been a little rusty, but that did not happen. 250 to 185. Game 2, FaZe claws back, and they win Search and Destroy 6-5, even it up at 1 apiece. Game 3, FaZe looked absolutely possessed. I mean, it was something. Arcides was also a big part of that. They swept the Subliners in control, going up 2-1 in the match. Again, lost game 4 in Hardpoint. You know, Subliners start looking a little sus. They're down, right? They did show a little sign of life when they played the next S&D match in 5. Brought it. They won 6-3 and brought it back, and then FaZe just slammed the door. Let's just call it what it is. FaZe like, no more games for you. No, sorry, Tone. I know you're just getting into this, and I know you've adopted this team because they're New York. They're up there close to home. And you could see it, and Tony was commenting on it as well. You could just see it in the Subliners' faces. They just didn't know what to do. It's just like FaZe turned Hulk mode on, and there wasn't anything they could do incorrectly. They're making all the right fundamental plays. They're making absolutely sick plays. The final S&D on Raid was all FaZe Clan. It ended up being 6-1. So they won their second major of the year in style. Tell me how you felt when that went down, Tone.
I don't know if New York is my team. I live in New York, but I like the way they played. They played, but you could see it in their faces. Like they were down. Like they were down on themselves, and FaZe, you could see the momentum in theirs. Just like they're just taking it to him. And there was one guy on the New York Subliners. I don't know what his name is. Starts with an A. Alik. Asim. That guy is phenomenal.
He's a great player.
Wow, that guy was so good.
He's not a brand newbie to the team, but he's not a vet either. He's been around for a little bit.
All these guys, their aim and their like precision and the way they jump and they were jumping over. They were jumping over like head to headshot, basically, like to jumping over like boxes and shooting while jumping over. So they would shoot, dip behind a box, jump over the box, and shoot.
Yeah, their body's only exposed for half a second. They get a shot off, and you might be dead. That's how competitive that is.
It's really, really cool how the things that they do and stuff like that. Am I still into Major League Gaming completely? Maybe not, but it's really cool to watch that and watch their tactics, because maybe I'll use those tactics in game, when I'm playing, against somebody else. They're not used to seeing that stuff or doing that stuff. So maybe might try to use those.
I jump up from behind a box or a wall like that. That's when I get shot. So I'm going to stay low and out of the way for the most part myself. Yeah. But Clayster, notice to Clayster, Tony's already abandoned your team. Did you just hear it? He's like, yeah, I'm going to watch the Subliners. They're from New York. And then he saw how you guys performed. He saw how downtrodden and beaten you were.
I don't like that.
Leader and the leader from the team, one of the oldest Call of Duty League players, is Clayster. He is their leader, and couldn't get the guys back on point to be competitive with FaZe. So I guess he deserves it.
I don't like those down faces. You got to be in the game. You got to be be ready to calm yourself and try to get back in the game.
So some interesting facts and some, I wouldn't say controversy, but it's been some definitely heavily discussed points here. Other than Major 1, Major 2 and 3 were won by a team coming out of the elimination bracket. So it sparked some controversy, some concern, some discussion. Basically, how do we feel about that setup? Because, the Subliners did their job. They were in the winners bracket. They came in, they earned that spot through their stage 3 play. They get the seeding. They get their couple of wins. They're in the final, but they're sitting there while these other teams are tuned up in the elimination bracket, already playing a game, earlier that day. FaZe gets to tune up against Ultra, right? They get their running start. They're ready to play. And now a cold subliners team has to come in and say, okay, now we got to turn it on immediately because these guys are already at the top of their game. They've already been playing very hard. So kind of brought some opinions out there. Optic Hitch, which is a CD personality, took to Twitter just after the match to offer congratulations to FaZe because they earned this win. This was their doing. They won it, right? But also, had some comments on the way, the CDL majors run. Talking to the esports channel after the final and the consensus, from in there, Milky was in there talking as well, was we need to go back to a best of 5. So, and a lot of double elimination style tournaments and anything out there in the world, typically, the winners got it, right? The elimination bracket comes up, they made a loss. So we go best of 5 again is what it should be. That's what we feel. And if the elimination bracket wins, right, then now they both got a loss. You do one more best of 5 and that's it. But Call of Duty, for some reason, I'm not sure if it's time constraints or what they're trying to do with it, or maybe they just want it to last longer. They go to this best of 9, right? Have to win 5 format, and really don't know what's up with that. Like to see it change, but some actual quote from Optic Hitch here. Insane tournament, so much good COD. The FaZe boys are freaks. 3 majors in a row now. Can we please ditch the way the finals is run? You win the winners final on Saturday. You sit for 5 hours on Sunday. You play a warm-up team after not playing, and a warmed-up team. I'm sorry, after not playing and have 0 advantage. So the subliners come in. I mean, that's not much of an advantage. You're sitting cold, and FaZe is already tuned up with a very good Ultra team. Like, that didn't just happen. They had to fight to win that match, so they're already mentally in the game. What are your thoughts, Tone? What do you think?
I agree with this completely because if basically what he's saying is that FaZe should have had to beat them 3-2, and or 3 to whatever, and if they had won, then they play another one. That way, both teams are warmed up and ready. And if the elimination bracket team wins, aka FaZe, at this point, then they would have to do it again, another best of 5, with now the subliners warmed up with them, and then battle it out again. If now the subliners win, then hey, they win the championship because they were the team to beat. They win it. But if FaZe wins, coming off the elimination bracket, then they should have to win twice.
That's right.
Because it's not the subliners' fault that they did their part, and now they're sitting there and they're not warmed up. They have to wait, and it's just like in football when you get a bye week. Sometimes, yes, you're resting, but sometimes you're rusty and you need to practice. You need to play, and that's why a lot of times you see things like that where the bye week team loses or things like that, or they have a really tough game, or they come out the gate really slow. But the difference is in football, it's a longer time to get yourself ready and get yourself going, and you can come back and win. But in this, it's a quick bang, bang, boom, boom, boom. You're done, out, gone.
So major number 4, Call of Duty League. This is my hot take for you. So if you're listening, this is it right here. Do right in major number 4. We're going to have it in the Jerry Dome. It's going to be LAN play. All the players are going to locally be there. We won't have fans and seats yet, which I'm disappointed about, but I understand. Do this right in Major 4. We'll have LAN play, right? There's going to be a certain amount of excitement, and then you're going to see some difference in gameplay. Playing online with different pings versus being on the same network there, you're going to see some different results, especially for some of these players that maybe you haven't seen play as well online. It will be different. CDL, do it right. Make it a best of 5 at the end. If we need a second best of 5, maybe subliners didn't need that this week. Maybe they beat him, right? And get the 3 wins in the first one and crown them champs. Let's call it good, right? Stop being money hungry and trying to elongate this thing when it doesn't need to be. But if subliners lose that first match, they get a second opportunity. And it's truly a double elimination because really what happened this last Sunday is the subliners took 1 loss. They'd already given FaZe Clan a loss, right? So make it right. Do what's right. Fix it. It's your stuff. Activision, Blizzard, you own this and Overwatch, right? You run both leagues. It's time to step up to the plate, folks. Make it equal, right? We don't want to
Yeah.
see that crap anymore. We don't. And as somebody who watches it religiously, don't do that to us again. Don't do that to the players. It's disrespectful. All right, I'm off my soapbox now. Let's transition a little bit as I'm all fired up this morning about the Call
Yeah.
of Duty League and the choices that they're making. Hopefully they listen out there because there's been a lot of call for it, especially after last weekend. So let's move on to the GGR CSGO team. Give some updates. They came in a match last Sunday night against Wait Up. They were 2-1 on the season. Tough night for the guys, man. Moj did most of the utility damage. Zeller's KD was 1.25. When I say KD, it's a kill to death ratio. So if you're familiar with playing, Apex, COD, any of the first person shooters, it basically your average of how many kills per death that you have in a round. They jumped up 2-0. They were out of the gate hot. Came back to 3-3, and then the bad guys ran off 6 straight games, and we didn't recover from that. The final score ended up being 16-7. Probably see some of the match results there. So just kind of know what we're looking at. If you see Zeller there on the screen, 20-16 for a 1.25 KDR. Look at the other team though; they're pretty cracked. T Connors at 1.69, Gonzo at 1.64. No, that's not our Gonzo. It's a different Gonzo, but they went up against a very solid team that night, and just didn't come on the right side of the fence. So I had a match Tuesday night against the Grapey Spaceys. Well, they were supposed to. The way the CSGO or the ESEA works is there's scheduled games on Tuesday nights and Sunday nights, right? That's the scheduled time. Typically 8:30 Eastern, around there is when the game takes place. And these cats didn't show. So we did win by default, bringing the record to 3-2. And if you guys want to look and check that out, they're in the intermediate division in the Eastern bracket. There's a Central and an Eastern. They're in the Eastern bracket. So what I think low key is they didn't show up because Zeller scares them, honestly. Zeller's skills just scared them off. They didn't want to come in. The team was able to find another team to scrim that night that didn't also have an opponent. And they took care of business. They kept the sword sharp. They won 16-6 in that match over the scrum opponent, which of course doesn't count. They still got the win and everything, but no stats associated with that, of course. Tomorrow. So you want something to do tomorrow night? Check these guys out. 8:30 Eastern. They're going to be going against Fawcett, Team Fawcett. You can catch any of those matches. We'll be putting it out on socials. We'll put it in the Discord. Zeller streams it. JoeBot streams it. Moj and Kratos, they all stream it. So you can check any of their Twitch channels out and watch the action, root the guys on. Really cool to be able to have kind of an esports team associated with a good Game Report name. So let's go out and support them. You got time tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern. The guys will be playing again. On to some other esports news, and this is actually a little Call of Duty related. It's a little Overwatch related. I was kind of surprised, and I'm kind of surprised that we haven't heard about this yet. Especially we talked about advertising earlier about Twitch and whatnot. Esports Observer reported last week that the Call of Duty League as well as the Overwatch League will have officially loosened previous sponsorship restrictions and now are going to allow betting and liquor sponsors. How do you like them apples?
Let's go.
After getting confirmation from the CDL team, the London Royal Ravens, who have recently taken on an esports wagering site called Midnight, MIDNITE. It's made it known that both leagues are now going to allow these kinds of sponsors. Activision Blizzard, which is the parent company of the CDL, as well as the Overwatch leagues, they've always been kind of against it, right? They didn't want this in there, but it now appears they've done a 180 on that philosophy, and they're going to allow it. So look for a lot of new sponsorship.
I wonder why.
Right? Maybe it's a little bit of this
Money.
right here, right? Huh?
Wait, we can make more money? Okay, now we're talking.
We can make money off these sponsors and people won't care. Yeah, let's do this. So looking for a lot of new sponsorship opportunities to grow from this. The Overwatch League has already had Bud Light before as a sponsor, but that was for the league. But this is different. Now individual teams can have sponsors that are liquor sponsors or betting sponsors. So just give it a couple of months here. I bet some new deals get struck up for this stuff, and I bet you see teams, Bud Light, Coors Light, different alcohols, liquors, whatnot, as well as betting. The betting situation in actual sports has been out there, and it's been legalized in a lot of sets and become more the norm. So look for the esports betting to come around. If nothing else, maybe make some wagers on the esports. Maybe that'll
Yeah,
make
that'd
it
be
more
really fun.
interesting.
That'd be really fun. I know a certain person named Craigo, certain boomer named Craigo that would probably love that betting on esports.
You think?
I
Yeah,
think I have this little feeling that he would like that.
I think you're right. I think I'd like to check it out as well. I'm not going to be doing
Yeah,
any large dollar wagering or anything, but it might
yeah,
just
yeah,
make it a little more. It's kind of like the NCAA tournament. Filling out a bracket or
yeah,
doing fantasy football, just putting a small nominal amount in on something. Just makes it a little more enjoyable to watch. So if you're betting on something longer term, like maybe
yeah.
like major number 4, you want to place some bets on that, on who wins, places, shows, that kind of stuff, like horses or whatever. I don't know even how it looks. I haven't looked at esports betting yet, but I'm interested. I'll check it out.
Yeah. A little fun fact about me: I love fantasy football, obviously, and I do DraftKings every year. Every
Yeah.
year, I put in $20
Yep.
to DraftKings, and I only play the quarter matches.
Gotcha.
They're only literally a quarter to do some of the things, and I join those every year. I do the quarter ones because I'm cheap, and whatever I win, I win. And every year, so far, every year, I've actually taken money on. That meaning I haven't lost my $20. I always end up pulling more than $20 out, so I always leave my $20 in there,
Is
and I
that
pull
desk
like the
made of
rest
wood,
out.
Tone? Do you have a desk made of wood? Knock on it for me.
A what? A
Is
decimated
that
wood? Yeah,
desk
yeah.
made of
Knock on
wood?
it. Yeah,
Knock it on
right
for
there.
me.
Now knock on
You
this.
didn't just mess yourself up.
But yeah, so hopefully maybe maybe it'll be involved in DraftKings is what I'm saying. That'd be really
Absolutely.
cool.
It'd
That'd
be
be really
nice
cool
to
to
take
bet
a
on
look there.
esports through DraftKings.
Be
But
cool.
moving on to my second favorite topic. Now it's it's hard to say, because I love esports so much, but retro corner time with me is my second favorite thing now. But Metal Slug Code J gameplay trailer just came out, and it's for mobile. If you've ever played Metal Slug is an awesome game. It's been around since like the early 90s, I believe. Matt's Geek Corner can probably tell me the exact dates because he knows all that stuff. But Metal Slug is an awesome platformer game, just a really cool game. And they have all different kinds on, I don't know about Apple. I can only speak on Android. We'll get into that fight later, but they have tons of different Metal Slug games on Android. It's like $2.99, I think, for the games and things like that. But this one's a Code J, really nice HD looking platformer, the way they did it new, and it's got some new stuff. So basically, you're like playing the classic game, but they redid it and remastered it with some new mechanics and stuff like that. And one of them is like the character Marco instantly gaining weight and slowing down. And then there's like mummy, like he turns into a mummy and does this like crouch thing and things like that. So there's all these new cool things that they added to the game, and it looks great. I mean, and especially on mobile like that, like you're looking at a little screen, the HD would look really, really, really great. So a very fun game, very comical too to play. It has your rescuing POWs and things like that, and there's all these different cool aspects of it. But if you haven't played a Metal Slug game, it's amazing. You can also play those games on PlayStation and Xbox. They have them on there, and PC, I believe, as well. So check it
I
out. Really
I
cool
had to
game to play.
know. I had to know, so I looked it up.
Yeah.
It's April 19th, 1996 is when that game originally came out.
There you go. See, I knew it was the 90s. Also, just so you know, there's no release date yet for this. They just released the trailer. I haven't seen a release date. They just said sometime in 2021. So be on the lookout on your phone to check it out if you like to play games on your phone. I personally do not like games on my phone, so I'll be waiting for that game to maybe be ported to like a console or things like that, and I'll play it on there. I'm not really a game player on my phone, but it's fun for a lot of other people that like to do that. And also, in other news, the Nintendo Switch Online. If you guys have a Nintendo Switch, you know they have a service. It's like $20 a month, or I'm sorry, $20 a year, and
Mhm.
it's Nintendo Switch Online, and they have really, really cool games on there. Tons of NES and SNES titles. And right now they're having 5 more being added. They haven't been added yet because I checked it yesterday. As of yesterday, they haven't added it yet, but they have they were hoping well, the fans were hoping that Earthbound and Super Mario RPG were going to be added, but it turns out they've added 5 other games, and those 2 are not on there. But they added 5 cool games. It's Ninja. I'm hoping I don't screw this up. Jajamara-kun.
Sounds good.
Yep. Spanky's Quest, Super Baseball Simulator 1000, and Caveman Ninja, aka Joe and Mac. They add and also Magical Drop 2. So they're all basically classic games on the SNES and NES, and they can be played on there as soon as they're added and stuff like that. But it brings the total now to 104 games between the NES and the SNES classics that they added to Nintendo Switch Online. And the number's going to keep increasing. Who knows how many it's going to end up being, but $20 a year you pay, that's chump change. And you get to play all those classic games on your Switch in 720p or on your TV at 1080p. It's awesome.
Yeah, we got a Switch here at home. I think I give them, I think it's about 50 for the family, so that how many profiles you have on there, they can all access it.
Yep.
I was just showing the wife the other day. I was like, hey, you want to play something different than Animal Crossing? You want to get back into some Nintendo or Super Nintendo games? Look at all this in here. And it just blew her mind that it was all there. So definitely pretty cool that you have that available at your fingertips to be able to access and play for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
All
so
right,
let's get into some. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
That's all.
Sorry. Got time to move on to tech talk. We got tech talk. We got a few subjects here. We're going to start off by looking at we got 2 new controllers for the PS5, the DualSense controller designs. They're pretty slick. Cosmic Red and Midnight Black. Should be able to see it there on the screen in just a moment. These are pretty nice. I'm not playing PlayStation right now, but these controllers look good.
Give me the red. Saying? Give me that red now.
Oh yeah, we got the animated. We got the video going. Look at that.
Give me that red now.
That red looks tight. I do like it. Not only do we have a couple different colors of controller for the PS5 DualSense, but going to get some more development for these. So recently released that game developers have upcoming features for them. Specifically, taking a look at Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Allows players to feel everything from footsteps to explosions in the palm of their hands. Insomniac Games calls the decision to make firing weapons and hitting different surfaces with your wrench no-brainers for haptic feedback, right? Which can be helpful. There's little things and little nuances in games that could be helpful. I'm not for, having a controller and having it, I turn my buzzers off, right? I don't want to feel them. It messes up my aim in a first-person shooter, I feel like. But, for example, it's like picking up bolts from your defeated enemies in Ratchet and Clank. You'll be able to feel that. Some of these items are smaller on the screen. You may know if you got them or not. So it could be helpful. Always also look forward to feeling the weapon wheel or map scans in more tactile ways with Ratchet and Clank. So got some things out there. It may not be for everybody, but it's going to definitely positively affect some folks. Subnautica Below Zero as well. They're going to get haptic feedback and they may already have it and it's going to accompany certain use of tools. Like if you're flipping the switch in your flashlight or feeling the coil of your grappling arm, the DualSense is going to let you feel the drilling sensation as you mine for resources in your drill arm. Again, not for everybody, but it's a more immersive experience, right? I'm thinking about maybe younger folks playing this. When I'm not saying younger folks, I'm not saying just younger than me and Optimus here. What I'm saying is like the people in single digits playing the game, right? This has got to be really fun for them to be able to kind of feel that feedback through the controller. Can you imagine feeling that kind of stuff when you're originally playing games, in the single digits, man? That'd be kind of wild at that age. So
yeah.
If anything, for the kids, right? To get to give a better experience for them. So look for developers to continue finding out how they can use the DualSense controllers to give different feedback in games going forward.
All right, so let's talk about this machine coming up here. So everybody knows who AverMedia is. If you don't, it's a company that also makes capture cards and things like that. They make mics, they make things for live streamers basically, or recording. If you want to do game recording, they've been around for a long time. They've actually, I think, been around before Elgato a little bit. But so they came out with a new device. Basically, if you're a live streamer or you're take part in content recording or you do music production, things like that, you know what a Go XLR is. And you also know what a stream deck is. If you have one of those, stream deck, you push the buttons, it runs your stream. You can adjust scenes, you can adjust lighting, you can adjust your mic on the fly, your sounds, everything on your stream. All right. Basically, AverMedia took a stream deck, they took a Go XLR, and they combined it into one to make a little baby, which is their baby called the Nexus AX310. They gave it out to Harris Heller, AprilsVox, and a few people to review. And they took this thing and they thoroughly, worked with it and did some stuff. And now, basically, I won't get into depth what they said, but they did not like it. And what they did not like is the software. Basically, the machine itself is really nice. The concept of it, the way it looks, the way it runs, the operation with the knobs instead of using the up and down of the Go XLR, they have some knobs, adjustable knobs. Everything works perfect. The concept is there in their mind. Basically, what AverMedia was doing is good. Problem was their software. The software is not easily. It cannot be easily run. It doesn't work correctly with everything they're doing in a stream. It just basically. It's like, and Harris Heller sums it up. Harris Heller basically said that he felt that it was made by an intern that was getting their first shot at maybe taking out a project, and they said, "Here, look at this thing, make software for it." And he said it wasn't really in tune with what a live streamer needs. And basically, they both said this, and the product is great, the mindset is right, but get the software right, and this can be something really special. Meaning, like, start asking real streamers what they need, aka Harris Heller, somebody like an AprilsVox. What could help this be better? Improve that software, and then release it again. So that way, people who did buy this, because it's a $349.99 price tag, which is good because the Go XLR is expensive as it is.
Yep.
So if you're adding two features in one, it's a great price range to fulfill both your needs. But the problem is they need to fix this software, or else this thing's going to go right downhill.
Yeah, you spend almost.
And the other problem was it doesn't sync with mics either. Like most mics, it wasn't syncing with. It had a lot of problems with all kinds of mics. It worked well with their mic that they're releasing, their new mic, but their new mic apparently sucks really bad, and it picks up noise all around the room. So they're having a lot of issues with this out the gate, but it's not something that they can't fix. If they write it and fix it, it could be something good. But right now, it is not worth a buy unless you're okay to wait.
If they get it fixed, you're going from, if you buy a full-size Go XLR and an XL Stream Deck, you spend about $650, right?
Yep.
So to get in at a $350 price point, it can save you $300. But
Yep.
it just sounds like they had a baby. The baby was ugly. The ugly baby should have went out and baited some people, right? It's okay to call your baby ugly, but in this case, you can fix the baby. So I say that in business all the time. Don't be afraid to talk about your ugly babies and what you're going to do to fix them. Right.
Yep.
So send the ugly baby out to some people. Let them work out some of the kinks in it before you go to market with it. Because now who knows? They may fix it, and people may attach to this or not based off the original experience. First impressions are huge, especially with gear.
Yep. In this case, the baby was so ugly they smacked the parents instead. All right. So moving on to some game deals now. This is also one of my favorite things to talk about. All the game deals that are happening and going on. Steam sales. I've talked about this before, about Steam summer sales and always Steam sales. Always check them out. During the week, just check them out. But did you guys know that Steam sells software, guys? Software. There's actually a software category, and you can get software. And I actually use this. I actually use Vegas Pro on there. I got it for like $50. I got Vegas Pro 14, and it works perfect. I edit all my videos, I do all my things on it, and it works perfect. And there's percentage off of stuff. Right now, you can get 45% off of Sony Vegas Pro 17 right now. That's as of yesterday that I looked. The Steam Edition Pro 17 is $131.45. I know it seems like a lot of money, but with Pro 17, you get a lot more features than I have on Pro 14. And it's phenomenal software if you know how to do edits and things like that, or you're trying to do YouTube creation and you want legit software. Because yes, you can pirate this, but remember, it's not yours and you can get in trouble. They will crack down. Your internet people might crack down on you.
And Optimus, this is a one-time payment, right? This is something you pay for it. You own the software as it updates and whatnot. You don't have to pay a monthly subscription like Adobe products.
Yep, exactly. There's no monthly subscription. You own the product. for as long as Steam is in existence, and Steam isn't going anywhere. Steam is never going anywhere. They've been around forever, and you're
Right.
not going to lose your product. You're going to always have it and be able to use it. So, another notable thing, Steam, if you want to go on the lower grade of Vegas, if you're new to it and you just want to learn it and drop a few bucks on it, 50% off of Vegas Movie Studio 17 Platinum Steam Edition, $34.99. So if you're breaking in, you just want to start, you just want to spend that, $35, you can do that. And then later on, when it drops even more the price, you can, pick up another version later. Or if there's other software you're interested in, check out their software section. That's why I always tell people that don't sleep on Steam software. It's amazing. Also for Sony has hot deals on the PS4 right now. There's 3 games in particular I'll talk about. Little Nightmares. If you haven't seen, a lot of people have been streaming Little Nightmares and Little Nightmares 2. Very, very cool, scary games. Like, they're very intense. It's like a platformer kind of style game, but it's very, very intense. 75% off for Little Nightmares. It's $4.99 on the PS4 right now. Also, obviously on the PS5, probably be the same price. I don't have a PS5, so I can't speak for it. Murdered Soul Suspect, 90% off at $199. These games are really, really cool visually, especially Murdered Soul Suspect, where you're basically a detective. You were murdered, and now you're trying to link up with somebody to help them solve a crime. So, and then there's 7 Days to Die, another zombie survival game, 75% off at $7.49 on the PS4. 3 notable games. Go check out the other games. Hot deals are up to 90% off of some games on the PS4.
You can roll the dice on $2 and try something out, right? If it's not, you just uninstall it. It was $2. It's not a big deal, right?
Yeah. And then for Xbox, on the Xbox side, this is not new news, but I wanted to talk about this because a lot of people have been streaming this game, Outriders. Outriders is free on Game Pass. It's been around since April. Check it out. You guys, if you guys don't want to buy a game, you guys want to pay the money for the game, but you pay money for Game Pass, download it to your Xbox, play it, have some fun on it. It's a RPG shooter, basically. I know our coffee break was playing it for a while, GGR's own coffee break.
Yep.
There was a few other people streaming this game for a little while. And I've seen some other streams loving it. It's basically like a Destiny kind of style game shooter with some really, really, really cool boss battles. I don't know if you've seen the boss battles in Outriders, but an awesome game to check out and play, especially when you're doing it for, well, not free because you're paying a monthly subscription, but it's part of your monthly subscription, so might as well download it and try it out. And last but not least, NBA 2K21 is free on the Epic Game Store right now. So if you have Epic and they always put out some really cool games for free, it's free, available until May 27th for free. So NBA playoffs are going on right now. So if you got your juices flowing, you like the NBA and you like NBA gameplay, try that My Career mode and just get yourself in the game and play NBA 2K21 for free.
I downloaded it. You mentioned it in my stream early on Friday morning, and I was like, I know what I'm doing as soon as I end stream tonight. I'm starting to download on this baby because for free. Oh yeah, I'm gonna check that out, hands down for sure.
Definitely.
Thanks for sharing about that stuff. So, little tease about next week as we're coming to the end of our show for today. Next week is poll week. Not that poll.
Oh,
POLL poll.
I was still in that hot tub mentality. The pool category.
Not that poll. We don't have nobody's dancing. I don't know. Maybe with this new category we can get a poll in a hot tub. Maybe Peter Tiny takes his shirt off. I don't know. Things lead to other things, whatever. But no, it's actually poll week. So make sure you're checking out socials this week. We'll probably utilize Twitter and Instagram like we did last time. We'll have some polls that we run through the week later in the week leading up to the show on topics that we have for next week. So be sure to interact with that. We'd love to see what you guys have to say through the questions that we put out there. Tony, what you got going this week, man?
This week I'll be gaming as usual. I'm most likely going to be playing MLB The Show. I have a game that I want to play. I don't know if I'm going to play it this week, but I want to. It's called Ruiner. If you guys want to check that game out when I'm playing it, feel free to do so. But I think I'm going to be playing a lot of MLB The Show just because I'm really, really into this game right now. I really want to progress my player and I want to make the major leagues. So I really like this game.
Yeah, you said you were picking up the bat a lot better in AAA
Yes.
now, right? You're starting
I'm
to swing
banging.
the
I'm
bat.
banging out some homers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good. From me, just normal stuff. Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, late night, 11 p.m. Central Standard. We'll get Apex in Sunday. We'll play Assassin's Creed on Tuesday and Thursday's Cold War. It was kind of fun playing Cold War this week because, as we mentioned last week, Rambo and John McClane came in. And there's a lot of them running around the map. They're just making a ton of money off of this plug here because it's
Yeah.
$20 to get the COD points necessarily to download the character to play with them. So if you wanted both, you'd be spending $40. Not this guy. I'll watch him walking around. I'm getting more fun out of killing Rambo and killing John McClane in the game. So
Yeah.
that's
Shoot
been
the
available.
glass.
As always, please check out my website, Giocare per Sempre, gamingforever.com, for any news or updates about anything Gotti. And lastly, before we start the raid here, I want to thank the producer and all he does behind the scenes. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate you. One of these days, he'll show his face. We have it set up to where he'll do that. Today is not the day, but this makes it a lot easier work, right? We don't have to push all the buttons behind the scenes. We just sit here and talk with you guys. So thank you so much, producer, for all your work. We really appreciate it. Looks like we do have somebody picked out. We're going to go with someone named Curious Z. Curious Z. That's who we're going to raid tonight. Appreciate everybody coming through this week for the live show. Another week in the books. Next week, it'll be poll week. Not that poll. Stop. All right. See you guys out on social this week. Please interact with the real polls, and we'll catch you next week. Thanks, everybody.